Welcome to the Tearfund Australia podcast. Over this series, we're having a fresh conversation about the future, faith, climate, and justice. We're talking to real people on the front lines of global challenges, from elders to next-gen leaders, local pastors, and global change makers. We're asking the question, how do we live into an uncertain future with deeply rooted hope? This is Strong Roots, High Hopes.
So welcome indeed to the new Tearfund Australia podcast series. We're talking strong roots and high hopes. A lot of people know me. My name's Joel. I've been a Tearfund Artist Ambassador for many, many years, doing poetry and all that kind of thing. Now, people may not know who you guys are, though. So I reckon we should start by finding out who our friends are here that we're going to be chatting all through this podcast with. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Who do we have here?
100%. Yeah. So my name's Matt. I live on Wurundjeri country. Really passionate about justice and hope, but mostly just following Jesus with everything I've got. Studying a degree in healthcare. Really excited to be here, be part of this project.
Right. And you've been part of the Just Leadership Cohort, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
JLC?
Mention that. Yep, the JLC. So that's a Tearfund kind of program, bringing together young Christian leaders from around Australia, getting to talk about justice and integral mission and all that kind of good stuff.
Great. That sounds good.
I'm Adalia, and I was also a part of the Just Leadership Cohort, so I think I kind of know Matt. And like you said, very, very interested about and very passionate about justice and about God and about how what my role is in this world and stuff like that. I work at Tearfund, and
What's your role here?
If you have seen all of those socials on social media,
You are the social media person.
the girl
Right.
behind the social posts.
So good.
That's a little bit about me.
Great. I want to ask how you got interested in social media stuff. Was that?
Just high level of doom scrolls, and it's
I love that.
I might want to do this for a living.
The doom scrolling led into a living.
Yeah, but also the good things like the awareness and all of those
Hopefully.
things that you can do.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I love it. We also, as we kind of begin to gather and talk about strong roots and high hopes, I think it's really appropriate to acknowledge that we're recording this podcast on Wurundjeri country, some of the strongest roots, right, that go deep into this land. And so to acknowledge them, that we are sharing stories on land where stories has been shared for millennia before my people came and were part of this land. So we just acknowledge that and honour any listeners as well who are First Nations people. I thought maybe we could start with just a poetic meditation that I've written around our themes, and maybe listeners as well. You guys might want to. It's a space, I suppose, to drop into this, and before we chat through something, to let these words maybe sink into more of that heart space, right? To get us not just thinking intellectually about all that we're going to be chatting about over this podcast, but to drop into what's happening inside us. So let me share this poem, appropriately titled "Strong Roots, High Hopes." Right? It goes something like this. A drop of rain, a gust of wind, the clouds gather and a storm breaks. It is raucous and untamed, and the trees sway wildly in the wind, branches thrashing and crashing high above, whilst I'm just trying to stay upright here below. They are smashed by the storm, and yet still the tree stands. A force hurtling against her, still the tree stands, like it refuses to believe that it can be toppled. And I realize I give in way too easily, right? I feel the wind rise and the storm come, and I am doubled over in my doubt, laid flat on the ground, pushed over, and I cannot stand. These roots not deep enough, this faith not flexible enough to take storm and to dance with it. Let it press and bend and bow and flow, and so often I am empty of hope. When the winds come, where do we find anchor? When another news broadcast shakes us like leaf and feather, when a story of violence and injustice tears us apart, when a village is flooded and the children starve, the creak and the groan, the earth, the bend and the sway of the branches still reaching higher, only 'cause her roots are reaching deeper. High hopes requires strong roots. Bold enough to let the winds come and still believe we will be here standing and buffeted as the storms keep breaking over and over, reaching and stretching into the sky, pressing and grounding into the earth, the hope that I reach for, the roots at the core of all I believe. I believe, but help my unbelief. Let me touch the scars of your body, of the earth where the blood flows. Give me hope enough for resurrection, for restoration. I reach out towards you with all this unbelief, asking for high hopes and strong roots, for high hopes and strong roots.
We hope you're enjoying this episode. Right now, there's a community of over 2,400 Australians using everyday generosity to tackle the root causes of poverty. They're called Restorers, and they partner with Tearfund through monthly giving. Because real transformation takes time and perseverance, giving monthly is what puts hope and justice on repeat. It provides the steady, reliable fuel needed to break the cycle of poverty for good, backing the vital work of over 40 local partners worldwide. It's just everyday people chipping in month by month, so injustice doesn't have the last word. Search Tearfund Restorers or check out the link in our show notes to join them.
Thank you so much for that, Joel. I love that image of standing in the storm and being deeply, deeply affected by it, but then being able to reach out to Jesus for help so that we can put our roots down. Yeah, thank you.
I think when the storms come, hey, it's so... that's the test of everything, right? As much as we want to have high hopes, it's the storms that come and prove whether we have strong roots. And too often I don't. I think. I don't know if that's the same with you.
It reminded me of when I was growing up, whenever we heard of a landslide, my dad kept saying, plant more trees, because they prevent landslides. The wind pattern changes, the taller the trees grow, the stronger the roots grow, the less the soil wouldn't really erode and stuff like that. So it reminded me of, it just took me back to then when you got to have your roots fixed and quite strong and rooted in Christ so that you can flourish and benefit out of it.
Well, I kind of really like that in the sense that not only do we need strong roots to reach up to the sky, metaphorically, to have those high hopes, right? But there's something about the earth needs the strong roots too, needs the groundedness, needs for roots to be down into it, to hold its structure in the midst of storm, leading to landslide, leading to devastation. I don't know. There's some beautiful metaphoric things, but I'm a poet, so I love metaphor, as you've just heard. I'm really glad you like that poem. Yeah, I think poetry, does that thing of allows us to reflect on, in this sense, taking that anything metaphoric allows us to reflect on the inner sense of storm, the inner sense of stretching and reaching out for the high hopes, which I think in relation to today, like I was thinking, and in relation to this podcast episode and all that's happening in the world right now, some people calling it a polycrisis, or a perfect storm in relation to this storm metaphor, right? Where the fronts of all these different storms are gathering together. At the moment, it's like a multiple storm fronts, it feels like anyway, right? Multiple storm fronts crashing in upon us, with wars in the Middle East, in the Ukraine, with the kind of economic polarity between the rich and the poor that's always there, but it feels like hyper rich kind of seem to be governing things and running things, and that kind of powerful elite has such control right now, right? With the massive political divisiveness between conservatives and liberals and politicians that seem to be amplifying these divides, with the weaponizing of trade and implementing of sanctions, with climate breakdown, like in the here and now, not just as a future thing, but these extreme weather events and water scarcity, with the increased cost of living and a flood of misinformation and disinformation and artificial intelligence. And geez, that's a lot of storm fronts. I don't know. I suppose my honest question that I want us maybe to start with, for us to chat about and for our audience to begin to think about as we head into this podcast series, is, do we actually think we can solve this, fix this? Like, honestly, do you feel like we can do anything that would change this? Because I struggle to. What do you reckon?
Since both of you are looking at me. Yeah, I think it's big, and I'm just one out of 8+ billion people on Earth and one tiny planet. And I can go on about how tiny I am, but change starts here. And I think that's also a part of what the gospel is about. It's about what I am entrusted with. And that was also that was one of the first commands God gave in Genesis. Take care of the word, rule over it. And if he can trust me with that, then I suppose I can find it in me to believe I can do something about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to think of trying to solve these problems just as humans and trying to get organizations organized to be able to combat these just incredible problems that we couldn't have imagined. But and so I think it's really important that we do lean on Jesus, and maybe not lean on Jesus, but maybe just get in on what Jesus is already doing and follow where he's already going.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to have any kind of wisdom or effectiveness in responding to these situations.
Yeah. I think for me, like, it feels so overwhelming, and I absolutely agree with what you're saying. In the everydayness, in the here and now, every time I hear the news report or see whatever political leader make some ridiculous, unjust, unfair statement or policy, whatever it might be. Oh, there's just that part of me, and maybe this is the whole idea of it's okay to grieve and lament and to not have it like sorted. Obviously, we don't have it sorted. So even just hearing that, like, I take more hope and more faith from your belief in just that little, as you said, that little grain of faith, that little something that is there for me in the midst of when I see it all. And I wonder, maybe that's the invitation really for all of our listeners over this series, as we hear from a bunch of different people throughout the world, is to sit in that tension, right, of having, and it's the name of the podcast, of having high hopes, but having strong enough roots to handle those high hopes, sitting in the tension of doubt and fear that things won't change, and lament and anger and frustration at the reality that we see in the world, but also just taking hold of, even if it's a little strand of hope, having that the courage to do so, because it's courage, like that kind of, in the face of all of this perfect storm, to say, actually, no, we can make a difference. That's hugely courageous of you.
But I think it's, on the contrary, I mean, yes, I'm trying to be positive and all of that. But at the same time, we live in such I don't know if you can relate to this, but we live in such an age where people are just like, don't be too optimistic about it. You're just way too optimistic. Why? I mean, it
Don't
is
get your
what it
hopes
is.
too
Yeah,
high.
don't get, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is. This is what the world is. This is where it's going. I mean, of course, I suppose being me at times like that little strand of hope might just feel like it might feel like it's all gone. It might feel like I'm just there by myself. I might not be hopeful. But I guess that's where the whole strong roots come in. You got to be geared to time, but also anchored to the rock.
Say that again.
Geared to time.
Geared to time. What do you mean?
You got all these trends. You got everybody saying different things about what's happening and all of that around you.
Yeah.
So you're moving along with time. You're geared to time, but at the end of the day, you're anchored to the rock, and the rock is God. Is everything you know about Him.
Yeah.
And for me, that's where I suppose hope clings on to and remains, grips.
Yeah. That's great. So I'm wondering, like, in the face of this whole perfect storm that we're talking about, for you guys, you look a little bit younger than me, let's be honest. You don't quite have the balding patch that I have up here as yet, but for your in the younger generation, let's say that, looking at this world that in some ways you're inheriting this future, right? Caused not by your generation. When you look forward at that future, what does that feel like for you as a young person, or even for your friends, for people the communities you're a part of, people your age looking at this world? Are they feeling the hopelessness? Are they feeling a sense of faith and courage in the midst of this? I'm wondering for each of you, what do you see coming from that perspective?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, the opportunity to solve problems is actually quite exciting. And that's kind of something I'm focused on, and something, I guess, it gets me up in the morning every day. It's like, why are we here? It's to kind of work on these things, to kind of slowly make the world a better place. I think when I talk about it with my peers, there's maybe a bit of pushback. It's like almost like, who do you think you are to like try and take these problems on? I don't know if that's
like
because
a defeatist pushback, like we're screwed. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or like, I don't know if it's like they maybe feel so overwhelmed that they can't really take the problems on and don't really want to engage with it because it feels too overwhelming. I'm not sure, but yeah, I really enjoy the challenge and the problem solving. And it's really fun to, I guess, be in a room here with people who are also focused on those things.
I like how you said you're excited about the opportunity to solve problems, that you find it exciting. Sometimes it's just very, for me personally, sometimes it just gets very overwhelming. Because like I feel like I'm on your peers' side sometimes, and I feel just like, oh my God, there's so much happening. How am I going to do it? If you all have been to like any sport-related match where you have, okay, let's say tennis, right?
Yeah.
Have when both of them play tennis, how your head just goes.
Yes.
That's what I feel like, because I see both sides of the story. I see the sometimes difficult, almost hopeless side of it, but then I also see how God comes through, and how we are able to work with our partners, hear them out, and how hope really transforms that community, that place. So I suppose from my point of view, sometimes you do have a heavy heart and, oh God, why do they have to go through this, or why do we have to go through this? But I suppose it's, at the end, hope is about being a part of that journey, being a part of growing from that root into the tree, into the leaves, and whatever benefit you get out of it. So I guess mine is just like a tennis audience view.
Great analogy.
So we won't be too scared if we're walking along the street and see you walking along with your head going left to right to left to right to left to right.
I'm not going to do that to her.
No, but I get that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Seeing both sides and going back and forth and feeling the hardship and then the hope and the hardship and the hope.
Yeah.
Maybe we all have a little bit of tennis. Need a good massage, I reckon. I wonder if, as we get into this over the next however many weeks we're doing this for, a few weeks, we've got like 6 weeks together, is that right?
I think it's 7 weeks, Joel.
7 weeks, wow. I wonder if as we keep coming back to this, maybe we could keep coming back to this, this, I don't know what it's called, this line, this edge, this tension to hold. A friend of mine once said that most problems in life are not a problem to solve, but a tension to manage, right? That maybe there isn't like a simple answer to any of this, but as we keep coming back and sitting on that edge and trying to both feel the lament and not like denying the reality of the world, but then also putting our courage into that rock and putting those roots deep. I suppose we want to invite our listeners to that edge with us. That sounds like a dangerous edge and a scary edge and a fun edge to play on. But let's go there, hey? Do you want to go there?
Nothing would bring us more joy.
Yeah, let's go.
Great, that's good. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be hearing from a few different people. We got Pastor Ray, Uncle Ray Minikin from Sydney, who's going to be sharing with us that many of our listeners would know of. He is an extraordinary man in Australian circles, a First Nations pastor. We have our Samoan friend, Otalanga Tuiali. Is that how you say her name?
I believe so.
Do you guys know? I think you did Justice. Did you do was she part of your Justice Leadership cohort?
Yeah, she was part of it last year.
Okay.
So we haven't met her in person, but I think you got her name right. Yep.
Great. And we've got Graham Anderson, who is a pastor as well from up in Sydney, Northside Baptist. Dr. Tanya Richies, who does stuff with Eastern College, the Masters of Transformational Development, and Marlon as well, Marlon Peary. Marlon Peary. I'm going to get these names. Imagine if I got all these names right by the end of our time together. Wouldn't that be good?
That'd be an achievement.
That'd be an achievement. Hey, that'd be great. And then we're going to come back at the end to kind of have a bit of a reflection on all of them, right? And a bit of a question and answer. So I'm looking forward to this season.
Likewise.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Thank you so much, listeners, for tuning into this one today. And we will be back next week with Pastor Ray Minikin.
This episode was recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people. We pay our respects to their elders past and present, and we hope that the stories we share here can honour theirs. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, follow and share to continue the conversation. Tearfund Australia is a movement of Christians working in partnership to end poverty and tackle injustice. Learn more at tearfund.org.au.